Welcome to The Explainer. So we're unpacking a massive, kind of quiet shift that's happening in the modern economy right now. You can go ahead and forget the old rules. As we look at 2025 and 2026, literally millions of people are crossing that $100,000 income mark without ever stepping foot inside a university classroom. We're going to break down the highly actionable, totally realistic paths to get there. And the best part? Absolutely no student debt required.
Okay, let's dive into this. For decades, society has basically flashed this giant neon sign at all of us. College degree required, right? We've been totally conditioned to believe that a university diploma is the absolute only secure ticket to wealth and security. But honestly, that sign is flickering. The ground is literally shifting underneath our feet, and it's definitely time we challenge that outdated assumption.
When you really contrast the old myth of, guaranteed wealth just because you have a diploma, with the modern reality, everything changes. The old deal was pretty simple. Pay the tuition, do your 4 years, and a high-paying career will just automatically follow. But today, the market is ruthlessly skills-based. Clients and companies, they really don't care about the fancy crest on your piece of paper. They care about tangible results. If you can actually deliver value and solve real problems, that degree requirement completely vanishes. But hey, before we look at the specific paths, let's just ground ourselves with a quick reality check. Hitting 6 figures without a degree is entirely possible. But sorry to say, there are no overnight TikTok riches here. The data shows it typically takes about 2 to 5 years of really focused, consistent skill building. You'll probably be putting in some serious overtime, and yeah, location definitely matters. Big cities are naturally going to pay more. But if you put in the grit, the path is wide open.
So here is our pragmatic playbook for today. We're going to cover Path 1, skilled trades, then Path 2, high-performance sales, next up, Path 3, digital skills, and Path 4, entrepreneurship. And then we'll wrap it all up with the unifying formula that connects every single one of them.
All right, let's jump right into Path 1, skilled trades. This is all about earning while learning.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the median pay. Right now, elevator and escalator installers are actually pulling in a median of $106,000 to $110,000 a year. And remember, that's just the median. Top earners go way higher than that. It completely shatters that old stereotype that trade work automatically means low pay.
And it's not just elevator techs either. Experienced electricians, plumbers, HVAC techs, and power line workers are regularly crossing that 6-figure threshold. How exactly? Well, by using specific accelerators. They pick up strategic overtime, secure union work, specialize in complex commercial jobs, or they eventually just step into business ownership. These are the practical, everyday levers you can pull to push your income well over $100,000.
The absolute beauty of this whole thing is the apprenticeship model. In year 1, you are literally getting paid to learn as an entry-level apprentice. By year 3, you're gaining specialized, high-value experience and logging those necessary hours. And then by year 5, you emerge as a fully licensed professional with a massive earning ceiling. The absolute best part? While traditional college students are racking up crippling debt, you've been getting paid this entire time. Your tools and your experience translate straight into reliable income.
Moving on to Path 2, high-performance sales. This is the ultimate meritocracy.
Listen, if you take absolutely nothing else away from this path, please remember this. Companies pay for results, not diplomas. In the sales world, things are just beautifully black and white. If you know your product inside and out, if you can effectively communicate, and you can consistently close deals, your paycheck is going to directly reflect that. Nobody is ever going to ask for your college GPA when you're closing $1 million account. I promise you that.
And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Take software as a service, or SaaS. An account executive in tech doesn't just sit on a standard base salary. Because their pay is tied directly to closed-won deals, their on-target earnings regularly launch to just incredible heights, often somewhere between $130,000 to $250,000, or even more. It is direct compensation for direct performance. Period.
But SaaS isn't the only vehicle out there. High-ticket sectors like commercial real estate or pharmaceutical sales are also massive income drivers. The secret sauce here is building a relentless book of business. You might start out completely entry-level, making cold calls all day and dealing with constant rejection, but because this world is a pure meritocracy, the hardest workers always climb the fastest.
All right, let's shift to Path 3, digital skills. I like to call this the self-taught advantage.
Getting into this field usually requires a grueling but honestly highly efficient self-education sprint. Month 1 is just pure intense learning.
By month 6, you really must escape tutorial hell and start building real-world portfolio projects that actually solve business problems. Then, by month 18, you're obtaining specific certifications and leveraging all those projects into high-paying freelance or full-time work. You are essentially compressing a 4-year computer science degree into 18 months of just pure hustle.
Now, obviously, without a degree, you still need to prove to people you aren't faking it, right? And that's exactly where gate opening certifications come in. Earning an AWS credential for cloud computing, or Microsoft Azure, or maybe a CompTIA Security Plus for cyber, it proves to employers that you can actually do the job. In the modern tech landscape, these certifications are basically the new diplomas, and they frequently open doors right to those six-figure salaries.
Which brings us to Path 4, entrepreneurship. This is all about owning the system.
This evolution usually follows a really pragmatic scale-up process. Just imagine starting small. Maybe it's just you and a service truck, or literally just you and a laptop. You completely obsess over step 2, delivering excellent, reliable work. That excellence inevitably triggers step 3, which is massive word-of-mouth referrals. Suddenly, you have way too much work, which forces step 4, scaling up and hiring employees to handle all that volume. And that right there is exactly how you turn a really solid hourly rate into a scalable empire.
So the crucial point is that owning a business changes the math entirely. You are now stacking hardcore business skills right on top of your core technical skills. Knowing how to fix an HVAC unit or write killer code is great, for sure. But knowing how to manage payroll, run local marketing, and hire a fleet of really great technicians, that is how your earning ceiling becomes virtually unlimited.
And finally, we arrive at the unifying formula, the rules of the game.
Look, no matter which of these paths you decide to take, success requires these 4 absolutely non-negotiable slices. First, skill. Pick something in high demand and master it. Second, consistency. You got to show up for years, not just on the days when you feel motivated. Third is results. Deliver actual value that people will happily pay for. And finally, patience. Respect the process. Hitting that $100,000 mark takes serious time and a lot of focused effort.
Which brings us to a really vital warning here. Please, run far, far away from get-rich-quick schemes. If someone online promises you 6 figures next month for 0 effort, they are absolutely scamming you. True financial mobility without a degree is built entirely on compounding abilities. It's like a giant puzzle. You just stack one hard skill on top of another, year after year, until your value in the marketplace is just completely undeniable.
A college degree is absolutely one valid path, sure, but it is abundantly clear today that it is not the only path. The modern economy heavily rewards competence over credentials. So, if you're ready to skip that massive student debt, the question really isn't whether you can succeed. The question is, which weapon will you pick, and which path are you going to take your very first step on this week?